Alright, so folks, got a couple of ARs here, and what I'm going to be talking about today is what is the best AR trigger. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, there is no one best AR trigger. What I'm going to do is talk about a couple of different styles of triggers, or a couple of different uses for triggers. So the first one we're going to talk about is the ALG ACT trigger. This is the best value trigger on the market for an AR. All these guns have been cleared already, so nickel Teflon coating on it, or is it nickel boron? I forget which. Actually, no, it's nickel Teflon, and there's also nickel boron. Everything's been polished up. This will break at about 5.5 to 6 pounds. Now, I got mine before they started offering the purple 4.5 pound spring. Haven't decided to get one yet. This one's good enough for me. Really nice trigger, and we'll go ahead. And there is almost no break whatsoever, or creep before the break. The reset, however, it is spongy because this is still at the heart a mil-spec trigger. It's just one that's been polished up, one that is nicer. I paid $60 for this, give or take. That was a couple years ago, I think back in like 2013 when I picked this up. So you do find sales now that are more prevalent where you can get it maybe for like $55. But it'll come with that new spring, which is awesome. I have one in that AR pistol that has a 4.5 pound, and you do feel a difference. But this is a really good trigger for budget minded, and it's a really good trigger if, say, you're law enforcement and you have to have a trigger above a certain pound weight. So it's just crisper. It's definitely not, precision trigger, but it is nicer. All right. Next up is the Geissele Super Dynamic 3 gun. So for competition, I think this is the best trigger. I've shot Timoneys, I've shot CMCs, I've shot other Geisele's, I've shot some Hyperfires, I've shot a lot of triggers. For a competition gun, this is my recommendation. Now the thing with this is it is super light. And there is just the tiniest bit of take up. It's not what I would consider a true single stage. It's more of a rolling break. Let me do it with my right finger a little bit because I got more dexterity. So there's not like a discernible wall like a two stage. It does make for resets really nice on it. Another nice thing about this is because it is flat and it goes almost all the way to the bottom of the trigger guard. If you're like me and you use this as kind of like a guide, it makes it where you get pretty consistent trigger finger placement. If you have a drop down trigger guard, you don't get the same deal because it is just flat all the way through. Because with 3.5 and 4.5 pound spring, I have 3.5 in this. It takes a little bit of a while getting used to. I don't recommend this for someone's first AR trigger. I recommend them getting a lot more experience shooting before they get something like this. But for competition, this, in my opinion, is the best AR trigger on the market. So, going in line with that, talked about the CMC for a minute. In my opinion, this is the best true single stage trigger on the market. You cannot miss this one because it has just its own unique look. It's flat, it has this little lip down here, so you get the same exact trigger placement all the time. Now with this one, true single stage, there is no creep, there is no wall or anything. Super nice reset. Just awesome, smooth. Comes with its own little anti-walk pins. It's a drop-in. CMCs are super popular. As far as just a true single stage, this is, in my opinion, the best single stage on the market. I have not tried the Geissele Super Speed Precision Trigger yet. I do want to, because I feel like that could be a very good trigger, just because it's a Geissele. Now, we talked about kind of, budget / duty triggers. Talked about some stuff for competition. The CMC is just a great overall. You can use it in precision gun, competition gun, depending on your department. Because that one's 3.5 pounds. They do make a 4.5 pound one. It's a great trigger. And it's a little bit cheaper than the Geissele. You're going to find them for 185 MSRP down to I think 155. Now, the best precision trigger, in my opinion, is the Geissele ssa-e. It is a 2-stage trigger that comes in at 3.5 pounds. Now, when I say 3.5 pounds, what you have is 2.3 right there, and then 1.2. Super clean break. Now, with this trigger, the reset, you have that slack back there too. So it's not like, I know some people will say a Glock trigger is 2-stage, but the thing is, when you get that reset, there isn't that extra wall you gotta take up. So, this, in my opinion, is hands down the best 2-stage trigger on the market. I have 2 of them. I have one in this Colt 901, and I have another that I'm debating putting in this rifle. Debating it, still not 100%, but this is a super nice light trigger. It's an awesome trigger. For precision work, you can't beat it. I remember when I first put together the lower that actually it was in this one. I had the Geissele SSA in originally. Decided just for fun to try out that lower on my 24-inch stainless steel gun, and with a normal just mil-spec trigger, it was a cloverleaf gun with 55 grain ballistic tip, and swapped out the lower, tried that ssa-e on it, and it turned into a 1-hole gun. So it will clean up your accuracy a little bit, because with that 2-stage, you can take out some slack, and then you just barely have any weight you got to put on at all, and it'll go. So in my opinion, those are the top AR triggers on the market for various uses. For a general purpose all around, it's going to be between the ALG ACT and the CMC. 3.5 pounds is kind of light, but I won 2 of those triggers at a match in a raffle. So they were 3.5 pounds, can't complain, because they were free, and I really do think they are awesome triggers. So for a general purpose trigger all around, I would go with the ALG ACT or a 4.5 pound version of the CMC. So those are some of the best triggers on the market right now. Basically, Geissele / ALG and CMC, those are the way to go.